'cause I really love to.
Welcome back to another episode of the GC Informer. I'm Snowy, otherwise known as Count Fracula, and I'll try my best today for you to not trip up over my words quite as much as I apparently do. So today's news is a little bit different. It's going to be a sort of cross between the news and the release radar. This isn't about releases though, this is more of a sale box type thing. And that is because the Steam the Black Friday autumn sale is upon us. And this is of course true amongst a lot of platforms. We've got Steam, we've got GOG, we've got Humble Bundle. They're all sort of going around with their sales. And I'm just going to highlight 10 deals I have written down here on this little list. And just go through the sort of best deals that I could find of the best games. The smallest discount on this list is 25%, so it'll be all over that. I will tell you the price, I will tell you the game, obviously. Wouldn't get very far without that. And I will tell you the percentage off, just to sort of gauge how much you think that's worth it. And I will say, for a start, even like a couple of these games I haven't played, but I can recommend them all. I'm like confident recommending all of these games because I have either vicariously experienced them and found that they're very good, or I've experienced them firsthand and they are good. So let's get into it. We'll start with the smallest discount on the list. We've got Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, a game that is just gorgeous and atmospheric and lovely, and proving the AAA industry wrong in so many ways, which to be honest just makes it even better in my mind. Really atmospheric, like visceral combat, interesting mechanics at play, and if you like games with female protagonists especially, this might be up your alley. It is 25% off at $18.79, and from what I've heard of the game, that is probably worth your while. I've decided to go in an order of increasing percentage of discount, and the next game on my list is Stardew Valley. Now, we all must know what Stardew Valley is by now. It is basically Harvest Moon, but distilled into its essence and made just utterly perfect. I've spent so many hours playing that game, and I genuinely as with all of these games, I recommend it so much because it is just one of the best games to sit back and relax while you're playing. It's genuinely wonderful, and it is 33% off, and it costs currently £7.36. We've got a few 50%ers at the moment, and now I'm going to start at one of these with City Skylines. And if you've ever paid any attention to my own personal channel or Twitch, then you will know that I am in love with City Skylines. The base game itself is just infinitely worth your time. The expansions, if you are really into the game, it is worth your time, but if you're less into the game, it doesn't grab you as much, maybe don't spend money on the expansions, but that's just, obviously your own personal preference. And I still will say this is one of the best, in fact, no, it is the best city builder I have ever played. And at 50% off and £5.62, you genuinely can't go wrong. That's one of the best deals I've seen, just in ages, because I love City Skylines and I'm gonna tell everyone to play it. Another game I've spent a ton of time on is Rocket League. It is in fact one of my most played games on Steam at 101 or so hours. A ridiculous amount of time for me, at least. I'm not a sort of avid play a game for many hours kind of person, but the fact that I personally have played this game for over 100 hours is testament enough to how just amazing this game is. It's very sort of tense. It's very sort of one more round, just one more game, and it's one of the best sports games I've ever played. I'm not a massive sports game person, I'm not a big football game person, and this game, car football, got me really into this. It just hooked me so much, except for the fact it's got loot boxes now. But they're handled slightly better because you can trade what's in them. Still, loot boxes! Now, if you're one of the people who hates the whole indie darling kind of scene, look away now because I'm going to talk about Undertale. Undertale was launched sort of 2015, the tail end of that, and it was critically lauded by the fans, lauded by all the pundits, because it is genuinely one of the most gorgeous narratives you can play in a game. It's a very, very lovely story to go through in so many different paths that you can go as well, and the way that all of this is implemented, the way it can actually work through your game is just fabulous. Tricks you all the time, you have to think on your toes about what you're doing, and the soundtrack and the art style are just absolutely wonderful in every way. At £4 though, I just have to recommend Undertale. I can't not recommend Undertale at £4. It is one of the best games of its year, and certainly worth that. Now on to some more recent games, and a couple that are very surprising at least. I'll start with Wolfenstein 2. For those of you who are keeping up, that game came out less than a month ago, which is surprising, and it is 50% off. There are some other games that are money off, like Destiny 2 is 35% off, and a couple of other games that just sort of not well received because of things like their monetization have been quite heavily discounted considering how young they are. I am very surprised though that Wolfenstein 2 and in fact The Evil Within 2 are both discounted at 50%. Both of those games were received very well critically and I think commercially to the best of my knowledge, and I'm very surprised, very, very pleasantly surprised that you can now get Wolfenstein 2 for £20. A game that's less than a month old, a big AAA release for £20. You just, wow. Well done, Bethesda. You've gone a little bit astray with your paid mods, but you're trying to get us back a little bit, and it's working a little bit. Still get rid of your paid mods, but you know, some bits are doing good things, some bits not so much. Now for the strategy fans, Civilization 6, a game that I've really wanted for quite a while now. It's one of the few on this list I haven't actually played, and it is basically, from what I've heard, the refinement of the Civ formula into its best outing yet. The reason I didn't buy Civ 6 at launch is because I personally wouldn't pay £50 for a Civ game. That's just me. I mean, if I were a little bit more into the genre, then I might, but just because of my own personal preference in genre, I didn't feel that that price point was right for me. But at its current discounted price of £25, the most recent Civ game, which was received very well critically and has had lots and lots of fan just love given to it, might actually get me to buy it. Also, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, another Bethesda game. It's a little sort of spin-off from Dishonored 2. It's a little fun side story. I say fun, it's not really fun, but it's a little side story around a different character from Corvo, who's the original protagonist, or the girl whose name I forget. And it is just like a little campaign. It was £20, discounted now to £10. Just, you know, right in there. Perfect price point for a lot of people to get on board with that series. That's all the 50% ones now, and we're moving on to The Witcher 3, one of the best RPGs ever made, and certainly the best game in its series. It is narratively amazing, it looks absolutely gorgeous, everything about the world, like the narrative, the world building, all of this stuff combined with the visuals and the design is just amazing. And you really feel like you're living, like it's in a living world. You feel like you're in something that is actually existing when you're not there, even though technically it isn't. And it is just wonderful to see and experience that game. And if you haven't already, you really should, especially if you are an RPG fan. And at the price of £14. Wow. £14 for what is basically one of the biggest, most expansive and most in-depth RPGs ever. You really just have no excuse to not buy it. Shit, City Skylines was 75% off. God damn it. Ah, you twat. And finally, I will mention one free game. It's the only free game that's currently available at the time of recording and will be available for 21 hours from the time of this video's release, roughly. It might be a little bit more than that. It is Sanctum 2. Sanctum 2 is the sequel to Sanctum, funnily enough, and it basically tries to combine first-person shooter and tower defense. This is a thing that's been done in other games, well, not first-person, but Assassin's Creed 3 did it, and that went to limited success, but the Sanctum series does generally have quite good reception critically, and to be honest, it's a free game. It's usually about a tenner, I think, on the Humble store at the moment, but they are giving it away for free for a very limited period of time. So go and pick that up. You can do it right now, absolutely free. And that's it for this episode of the news/sale box thing. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, or a share, whatever you fancy. Our social links are down in the description, along with a link to our Discord, where you can join in some lovely public chat. And stay tuned to GameCast for more news, reviews, let's plays, podcasts, lots of fun things. We're really hoping to ramp up the content. Sorry, some of it's been a little bit sparse recently, but unfortunately, life gets in the way. But we're hoping to be back and on it soon. And thank you